Hello, namaste, and this is Shweta Jain. We are on the show Conversations with Money. Hello, namaste, and this is Saturday 5 p.m. So you know Saturday 5 o'clock हम मिलते हैं और पैसे से बात करते हैं. पैसे से हम क्या चाहते हैं वो हम पैसे को बताते हैं. So this time Saturday 5 p.m. every Saturday, please don't forget सब्सक्राइब कर लीजिए हमारे चैनल को इन्वेस्टोग्राफी मीडिया, ताकि आप ये शो मिस नहीं करें. हम ऐसे टॉपिक्स लेते हैं इस पे जो आपको इम्पोर्टेंट है. आप अपने पैसे से क्या बातचीत करें, कैसे करें, कितनी बातचीत करना वाजिब है. सो वी विल डू ऑल ऑफ these conversations with our money to make sure that it gives us joy, it gives us peace, and it gives us prosperity. So today we are going to be talking about savings. If you've seen our last episode, it was on expenses, the most important thing. Next most important thing is, of course, savings. And if you've not seen the previous show, please watch the previous show as well. So savings, बचत की ताकत is our title for today's show. बचत की ताकत क्या होती है? बचत की ताकत ये होती है कि वो हमको बचाती है. So savings for me, or save, is not that we are saving money, but that money is saving us from adversities, from anything. And this is today, tomorrow, whenever, right? So money is saving us, and that's what I mean by saving. For me, that's what it means. So when it comes to saving, India has been known as a country of great savers. In fact, 26 to 30% of our income would go to savings. Hi, Vishal. Thank you for logging in, and thank you for saying hi. India has been a country of great savers, and this has been changed in the last couple of decades. आज इंडिया में broke, middle of the month we are broke. That's the kind of lifestyle we're leading today, and it's a little stressful. It's a little painful to see that youngsters today are looking at money in a way to consume only today and not looking at their tomorrow. The YOLO philosophy, you only live once, has taken over our lives, and it also has translated into making sure that we don't save anything for tomorrow. We are spending more and more today. We're becoming more and more consumeristic today. And with that, of course, there are its own pitfalls. But what happens is that we are putting, or we're jeopardizing our own future while living like this today. In fact, I want to read out a couple of tweets that came out, so just bear with me. And these rung home with me, and I wanted to, and these sort of inspired me to start the show as well, that there is a crying need for a show like this. So Sidin has tweeted a couple of weeks ago saying, forget macroeconomics and corporate finance. They should have courses on just managing your personal finances. He's also tweeted, one thing I've learned from the COVID catastrophe is that so many batchmates from engineering and maybe school have no savings. So many people with like 20 years of really affluent work experience are 2 months away, a 2-month salary away from crowdfunding to feed their families. And this is quite scary, because हमको लगता है कि अगर हम ज़्यादा पैसे कमाएंगे तो we'll be well off. But it isn't about that. It's about habits. It's about saving as a habit. Now, our grandmothers used to save, or our mothers used to save, और कहीं पिकल जार में पैसा सेव करते थे, कभी कपड़ों के बीच में पैसा सेव करते थे. हमको गुल्लक दिया जाता था पैसा सेव करने के लिए. हाय विकास, थैंक यू फॉर साइनिंग इन. गुल्लक दिया जाता था, तो आई यूज्ड टू हैव मिट्टी का गुल्लक, तो उसको तोड़ के ही पैसा निकालना पड़ता था. तो पैसे निकालने के पहले हम बहुत बार सोचते थे. तो इट ऑल्सो गॉट होम द लेसन ऑफ लिक्विडिटी, राइट? सेइंग अगर मैंने आज ये तोड़ दिया तो मेरे पास पैसा इकट्ठा करने के लिए कोई जगह नहीं रहेगी. ऑफ कोर्स देन वी गॉट पिगी बैंक्स विथ लॉक्स, एंड दैट्स व्हाट माय सन यूजेस टुडे. This is quite interesting to see that, saving as a habit has been promoted, but we've forgotten, as we grow older, we've forgotten the importance and the habit of saving, right? तो हमको लगता है पॉकेट मनी जब सेव किया है तो अभी सैलरी आ रही है तो सेव करना जरूरी नहीं है. It's even more important that we save more money. In fact, a lot of people ask me, how much should I save? Sidin Vadukur, the mentor, yes, Hitesh, I think that is the one. I didn't see, I just took a screenshot because I thought it was very relevant. It didn't matter to me who said it, but I think it was very important that got said. So should be that, I think. I'm not sure. It's really, really important to start saving and start saving early. And the amount to me doesn't matter. How much should one save, right? It's $1 million question. How much should one save? Ideally, 100% of your savings, 100% of your income should be your savings, but that's not how we live, right? We don't live in an ideal world. So start off with the 50-30-20 rule. 50 goes towards your regular expenses or your needs. 30 could go towards your wants, or 30 could go towards savings, and 20 towards your wants. Depends on how much you want to save. How to save, right? So don't save what's left after spending, spend what's left after saving. Warren Buffett ने ये कहा है. And अगर किसी की बात हमको माननी है तो I think Warren Buffett is somebody that we should definitely be listening to. I'm sure everybody knows of him, one of the richest people in the world, one of the best investors in the world. So this is something that we should follow. So I think changing the equation of income minus expenses is equal to savings. We have to change that equation. Income minus savings should be your expenses. So expenses का जो हमने episode किया था उसमें भी हमने थोड़ा बताया था ये. But change this equation. Save more. When you budget, you'll know how much you need. Keep that splurging budget aside, so you know what you're saving and how much you're saving. Now, what are you saving for? Aksar, like I spoke about in our last episode also, we find excuses to spend, right? Sale hai, we really need it. ये color का नहीं है, या whatever. I'm depressed. I'm upset. So this will cheer me up. So whatever it is, we find reasons and excuses to spend. So look at what you're saving for. So setting some of these goals like a vision board will really help. If you've seen my book, My Conversations with Money, you see that is my vision board as well, which helps me save, which helps me push myself to save more and more, because that is something that that we really need to do. We need to push ourselves to save. A quote we have, when your level of income increases, don't increase the level of your fences, increase the level of your charity, right? Giving away, or increase your level of saving, right? So start saving more and more. Start with the 20% if you're comfortable with 20%. Move it to 35% as you can, but having that one goal. India में जैसे अगर हमको लाखपति बनना है, करोड़पति बनना है, put that as a goal, saying मुझे अगर 1 करोड़ का पोर्टफोलियो बनना. I know lots of people who keep these as the goals, by the way, saying मुझे 15 साल में करोड़पति बनना है, या मुझे 12 साल में करोड़पति बनना है, right? So अगर आपको 12 साल में करोड़पति बनना है, so you should be saving up at least 30 to 35,000 per month, right? So look at these goals like that. This will help you. आपको जो goals हैं वो हमको लगता है कि 1 करोड़ इसके लिए है. बच्चों जो पेरेंट्स हैं, बच्चों के एजुकेशन के लिए जो goals हैं, लगता है कि इतने लाखों करोड़ों रुपए हमारे पास कहाँ से आएंगे. तो what we should be doing is look at this bite-sized. So break it down to monthly हमको कितना चाहिए, and then it becomes easy to save for those goals. So for example, I had this 1 crore goal. I have, say, my son's education goal, his marriage goal, my retirement goal, a property goal. So all of these goals are समझिए मुझे at various points मिला के मुझे चाहिए 5 या 6 करोड़ रुपए. But if I break it down monthly and I say, you know what, if I save 30,000, I can meet this goal. If I can save 5,000, I meet this goal. Then I decide, okay, this goal is not so important, so I'm not going to save for that, or I'll review it at a later date. So these goals keep us on track to saving. Varna, we are always in the state of deprivation, saying, what am I denying myself for? And which is why we tend to spend more and more. So it's not really कि हम पैसा कितना कमा रहे हैं. हम तो अपने पेरेंट्स से और ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स से बहुत ज्यादा पैसा कमा रहे हैं. So we should be saving much more and should be retiring much earlier, but that doesn't happen, right? So it is really important to inculcate the habit of saving. आप चाहे 1000 रुपए से start करिए. The habit is more important. Bonnie and Mamta, thank you so much for your questions. We'll take the questions in just a bit. Thank you for logging in as well. So focus on what you're going to do with these savings, right? तो आप imagine करिए कि मैं वो vacation पे जा रही हूँ या मैं वो गाड़ी खरीद रहा हूँ. So it's you're focusing on what you're going to get rather than what you're denying yourself today. So keep those things in mind. Okay, so a couple of questions quickly now. I'm going to take Bonnie's question first. I earn 40K per month. I save about 10K, but I don't really know what to do with that savings. So Bonnie, you'll have to look at a couple of things. First, see if you're doing your tax planning and saving for taxes. If you've not done that, look at ATC. आपने EPF कितना contribute किया है? If there's scope to increase for ATC, please look at tax planning first. Look at your portfolio. If you don't have anything other than EPF, for example, you could look at ELSS mutual funds, equity linked savings scheme mutual funds. These are equity, so you'll have to take a little bit of risk. If you're younger and say in your 20s or 30s, you can take a little bit of risk, and it's a good time to start now. So look at equity linked savings schemes, 10K SIP, maybe in 2 schemes. Look at good schemes with track records like a DSP tax saver. Look at Aditya Birla tax relief. These are good schemes. You can look at those. If you are looking at non-tax savings, then if you're just looking at long-term growth, you can look at diversified equity funds as well for mutual funds for long-term. अगर आपके पास PPF account नहीं है and if you're young, you can open a PPF account as well, because it's one of the best debt investments even today, even with its existing rate of return. It's got EEE, so that helps as well. Mamta, I hope this helps, Bonnie. Mamta, I will be starting to work soon. I want to know how much should I be saving every month? Thank you. Okay, congratulations. You're starting work soon and you're already thinking about saving. I think that's a great first step. So budget your expenses first. जैसे ही पैसा है, move it to another account, a liquid mutual fund, for example. Read up on these mutual funds. These will help you save better and save more. I'm going to give you a couple of hacks really quickly as well, because money lying in the bank, what happens, Mamta, is that it basically is calling you out to spend it, right? आपने Ulysses और वो sirens का अगर story सुना है, where Ulysses has to cross a part of the ocean where there are sirens, and if you listen to their music, you're going to crash into the rocks. तो मेरा बैंक अकाउंट भी मुझे वैसे ही बुलाता है, spend me. It's a haunting sound that it makes. And बैंक में जो पैसा पड़ा होता है, at the end of the day, I have to spend it because I cannot control what happens to me. Like Ulysses put cotton in his ears or covered his ears. I also cover my ear by moving this to liquid mutual funds. Because how to save, it's enough for spending. I'm literally taking loans to meet my expenses. Because you'll have to start looking at your expenses more closely, budgeting your expenses. You'll have to cut down for sure. Living on loans is not the way to live. You'll have to start putting aside some money, saying, even if it's 500 rupees, start putting aside and say, I don't have this money to spend. Whatever expenses you can cut, whatever is discretionary, cut down right now. If there's a credit card involved, please make sure that you're not using your credit card at all. Start using cash or debit cards or net banking for using. If you're using hard cash, it pains even more, and that is how you will control your expenses, because the key there is to control your expenses. Vishal, hi. At 60, it's all about spending. However, there is retirement fund, how to manage it. Vishal, great question. At 60, it's really tricky, because if you're retiring and you have a lot of time on your hand and a lot of money on your hand, it's a deadly combination, actually. You could end up spending a lot of money. In fact, I'll give you an example, and this is an article in ET Wealth a couple of months ago. The article said, initially they ended up spending on their house, saying, "Acha 5 lakh kharchenge," where they thought they will only spend 5 lakhs. They ended up spending close to 20 lakhs, and then they went and traveled for the next 5 years. So spending becomes really, really easy at retirement, especially because you have time. So make sure that you're planning not just your retirement fund, but what you're going to be doing with your time after retiring. Very, very important. So that's how you will manage it. You will have cash flow for the next 3 years sorted aside in liquid, so that markets mein utar chadav mein aapko koi problem nahi ho. Next another 3 years you will have it in debt. more, you can have it in an asset allocation fund and equity as well, because you still have at least 20, 25, 30 years at 60 to make sure that you lead a comfortable life, because we have to account for inflation post 60 as well. Just because we retire doesn't mean inflation retires as well. Agnello, would you consider investment in real estate as savings? Great question, Agnello. In fact, that was a part of thing that I wanted to cover, but I did not. So our parents keep telling us to save money, and they sort of, I'm not going to say trick us, but they want to lessen the temptations for us, so to speak. So they tell us to invest in, say, LIC policies or buy a property, so that EMI jayega, premiums jayenge, so we will have that much lesser to spend, and make sure that we don't waste that money away. I would say real estate, if it's a plot, it's an investment, so it's fine as a savings. Real estate comes with its own pros and cons, which we'll cover in another episode. But yes, it is savings, especially if you're buying a house for your living, so then that is something that it's not really a financial decision, it's more emotional decision. Because financially, agar aap dekhein, the buy or rent mein, agar aap evaluate kare either buy or rent, the rent will always win, because financially it would make more sense. But it doesn't work like that, because we want stability, because roti kapda makan becomes a basic need. So house, I would say, is something more emotional than financial. Just real estate, I would say it's a savings. It's not necessarily the best investment. Bikash also has another question. I have a couple of credit cards and a big outstanding, and due to financial constraints, I have to go for settlement. Just wanted to know how much impact it can create in my account. It can create a huge impact. It can affect your CIBIL score negatively. So I would definitely recommend that you look at paying off the entire thing. And if you're not able to control your spending on credit cards, I would recommend cutting the credit card off and not necessarily spending on credit card if you can't control that spending. But your CIBIL score could be severely affected. However, with time, you can bring that score back up as well, but it will be on your history. Bonnie, for creating a pension kitty, which is a savings for me, which is the best option. Okay, so this is a retirement investment sort of question. So you can invest for long term if you're in your early 30s as well, before 30s as well. So you can look at equities as a great way to do retirement savings. Bikash has one last question. Okay, no problem. This show is to answer your questions. Which MF is better right now to invest, and also if you can suggest for cryptocurrency. Okay, so which mutual fund is better depends on your time horizon, on your risk profile. So I cannot randomly recommend mutual funds that's right for you. I can tell you some good mutual funds that you could look at and then make a good portfolio depending on your needs and your goals. Over the series of 3 months of 12 episodes, hopefully you will get at the end of it that what you need to do and how you need to plan your investments. That's how we're going about it. So please bear with us and make sure that you're watching all the episodes and doing the homework diligently as well. So cryptocurrency, I'm not a fan of cryptocurrency. For me, it's more speculation. It doesn't have an underlying asset class. So I'm not really a fan of investing in cryptocurrency for any of your goals. So that is something that you should keep in mind. I'm going to share a couple of hacks now, as promised. So 5 hacks for saving. Save first, so that you can save maximum. Save more every year. So as years go by, give your savings also an increment, like how you receive increments for your salaries. Give your savings an increment. So save more every year. Keep your goals in mind and save, so that you're not looking at today's denial that you're getting, but on focusing on what you're getting it out of it tomorrow. Automate your savings. Last 2 hacks are very, very important. We are tricking ourselves into saving. Automate your savings so that you don't have this option of backing out. But now you'll always find a reason not to save. So automate this process and keep one barrier, right? So don't just save in your bank account or another bank account. Put it in, say, a liquid mutual fund or a short-term debt fund to make sure that there is one barrier. So agar aapko paisa chahiye, so it's available to you at a moment's notice, right? Within a day or two, you'll get your money. But you will have to initiate a transaction or you will have to do something. So that becomes a barrier for you to withdraw your savings unnecessarily. So these are 5 hacks on savings. In our next episode, next Saturday, 5 o'clock, we are going to be talking everything about loans, EMIs, कितना लोन ले, किस चीज के लिए ले, floating rate ले या fixed rate ले, क्या tenure के लिए ले, all of these and more. We will answer your questions, so please keep them coming. And see you next week. Thank you for logging in. Thank you for watching.